in the past 12 months, if you have generated $100,000 or more in revenue from your consulting, from your business, maybe even from your career, I want you to think about how you got here. I get to work with so many different types of business owners and consultants, coaches, creators, so many different types at different places in their journey. And I would say 80% of the time, I get to talk about your first dollar or your first 5K. And I enjoy that so much because it's that grind, it's that grit that I'm so connected to and will always be. Today, I make approximately 5K per day. And to me, when I say that number, from going from being homeless a few years ago to today, when I say that number used to be huge. I mean, if you do the math on that, something like 1.8 million per year, this is a large number. But today, although uh, I'm grateful for the number and I work hard for that number, 5K a day seems a little small to me. And what I love about that is that every time I reach the summit, the top of a mountain that's a goal of mine, it becomes the floor. And if you can think about that, if you can think about money in that way, if you've reached that 100K or more, there will be days if you can switch your thinking that way. Instead of thinking, well, okay, I reached 100K or 200, 300K, how do I get to double that? Instead of thinking like, what's that angst involved in doubling that? Do I have to do twice the work? What do I have to do? If you think of it like, okay, I've just reached my floor, and one day in the near future, I will look back on this number with a certain kind of nostalgia. And I'll feel like, oh, that was really cool when I did that, rather than I'm here now and now I have to go to the next. So I want you to know, tell me that number. You can tell me in the comments, but just tell yourself, if nothing else, you're watching this, you've made six figures or even seven figures. What number is that, first of all, in the last 12 months that you've put together? I'm very proud of you, whatever that number is. And then the second thing is, what number would make this number seem cute? And the reason that this number 5K a day, which is like life-changing money, I'm certainly not saying it's not. The reason it seems cute to me right now is because I surround myself with people who are doing as well as I am financially or better. And most of the time, I try to get into rooms with people who are doing things that I'm doing, so can relate, and who have done things that I want to do. This is a constant. I'm always pouring in to others. I always have something to learn every day. These are the things that I know about myself, and these are the tactics and the mindset shifts that I had to make in order to continue to grow. Because if you look at my videos, if you look at a video maybe from, let's call it 6 to 8 months ago, I probably was doing 3K a day, and that was huge. That's $1 million year. It's already grown from that because I continuously, every day I wake up and I say, how do I level up? How do I level up for myself? And how do I help others do the same? How do I help other people make more money so they can have more options and freedom? And in doing so, I think about, well, how do I set that example? And then when I do something that works, I try to get it out to as many people as possible, as fast as possible. Speed. I was looking at Greg, I think his last name is Lav, something like that. Lavecchia. I don't know. I'm making up his last name. But anyway, Greg, CEO, co-founder of Bloom Energy Drink. They're going to do about $600 million this year. And I have a new drink. I mean, been working on yacht water for years. We have merged with Gem Blends and we are out there with some Gem, okay? Delicious adaptogen. I drink it every day. It's awesome. It's a daily ritual. But because of that, like when I was working on yacht water at the beginning, the first year, I studied liquid death every day, like I was in school. We're working on adaptogens, we're working on a little bit different. I study poppy. I've studied olipop. I've studied sanzo. I've studied now bloom. Bloom is where I'm studying the most, and a little bit of poppy. Because poppy is like the a couple of summits ahead, you know? Bloom is as well. But I also study the people who are kind of like right ahead of me or right where I am so that I can know as much as possible. Yesterday, I went to a wellness summit, speaking of summits, and it was for the beverage industry, for the spa industry, different things like that to get our beverage into different places. And we have a team there. And this is in Los Angeles. You know, we're sponsoring this. We're in the rooms, paying for fly everybody out. It's a whole thing. Like we're in the trenches, and I'm doing most of this out of pocket. And what I did was I walked into this space and I realized I've never been to a space like this. I've never been to like a wellness B2B kind of place before. So what do I need to do? I need to immediately soak up as much as I can, have as many conversations with people who have done this here as I can. And I need to treat this like I treat the things that I'm very good at in the early days. So what I did was instead of trying to like sell my drink to everybody, I just went up to people and asked them like what they did, what their experience is at these types of events, people who were also showcasing or people who were buying. I just had multiple conversations. And it was incredibly beneficial because to me and to my business, because now I'm learning. And now I've made connections. So, in other words, I'm this small fish in this big pond. Whereas if I were to go to a tech conference or a business conference, entrepreneur conference, I might be even speaking most likely or headlining the event or at least recognizable. But of course, I went there in this way. About a year and a half ago, I went to another beverage event that wasn't like this. It was more educational. Had my backpack with me, and I did the same thing. And I will continue to do that with more, like more intention, and I will do it more often, more frequency, because I'm in it. So there's so much to learn from being in the room with people who have done what you want to do, even at different levels, right past you, right with you, a little bit behind you potentially, because you can always learn from everybody, and then way ahead of you. When's the last time you had those types of conversations? Or are you only in a one-on-one conversation with your screen when it comes to someone who has done more? Like, for instance, my courses. It's very cool to watch my courses. I'm never going to say that's not. But you have to combine that with working with people who have the experience. Um, I want you to think about that 100,000, that 200, that 300,000, the 500,000 or more that you've made as the floor. I'll tell you a story about Jasmine Star in just a second. If you know, you know. I'll tell you a story in just a second. But before I do that, I want to make sure that you know that I have this room. I'm building this room from the ground up, and I want you to be part of it. If you are someone who makes $200,000 or more per year, or you have a business that makes a million more, and if maybe a little bit less than that and you want to have the conversation, I think what you would do to know if this is right for you and to know if I would let you in is to go to the website. So I'm going to link to the website below in the description, in the pinned comment, but I'm going to tell you here on like right now, it is meant for more. And that is spelled very specifically. Meant, MEANT, like the word mean, meant. The for is spelled out FOR, and more is spelled MOR with no E.com, meantformore.com. You will look through that. Please look at it carefully. See if it's something you want to be a part of. I'm putting together 30 founding members. We've already onboarded several members. We've already had a first event. We're going to have our first, like, in-person event. We're going to have our first virtual call in just a few days. And we're going to have multiple events throughout the year. And you and I will get to spend a ton of time together being in these rooms. I'll take you to rooms that I'm in, and I will create rooms for us with the people that you need to be in collaboration with. Now, the Jasmine Star story. So Jasmine Star is this amazing entrepreneur. She's awesome. She like kills it on Instagram. She just content is her thing. She is like what I've noticed is like everybody you like, your favorites, she's their favorite. If that makes sense. So she's everywhere, okay? And we had a great interview. I interviewed her for this channel a few months ago, maybe a year ago. I don't even remember exactly when, but I interviewed her and we had this great interview and it was like an hour and a half. But for like 30 minutes of it, there was this moment that became a coaching moment where I coached her about YouTube. And the conversation we had was the premise of it was she was on track to do $10 million that year. 10 million. And I told her that I thought she could 2x that with content alone, meaning long form YouTube, LinkedIn, long form videos, 8 minutes, 20 minutes, 60 minutes, like I'm doing right now. Because I've done that myself. Not the 10 million to 20, certainly, but I've done like the million to 2 million, the 500 to 1 million. I've done the 2xing. And she was just blown away by it. But let me tell you the thing to extract from it. We have the conversation that you can look up. Just look up Arlan and Jasmine Star on YouTube and you'll find it, which is really awesome, by the way. Go check it out. But the second thing is like the most important thing is she was so willing to be coached. It was so cool. Like I will never get over that because you would think, okay, she's at 10 million. Everybody who is someone else's favorite she's their favorite. She could coast on that. But instead she's like, no, 10 million, I'm going to make that my floor. If there's a way, let's go. And it's just been wonderful to see her go ham on her content ever since. It's just very cool. Not to say that I'm the only reason she's doing that, but like if she goes even further on YouTube and we dial in on some things, woo, you'll see her everywhere around here. So think about like the conversations that I get to have with Jasmine casually on a Tuesday, and I'm able to bring that to the masses. But think about what happens when the cameras are off. So the cameras are off. We give 90 minutes of pure fire for free for YouTube. We clip that and we show that around and people get something from it in a major way. But then when the cameras are off, it's just the two of us. And we get to have even deeper conversations. Go further with the behind the scenes, what's working for you. What have you seen? Oh, this thing will save you here. Those are the types of conversations that my more members, it's called more, my more members have access to. They get to see when the cameras are off because a lot of times they will be in those rooms with us. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're in a position right now, I want you to hear me really closely. If you're watching this video, especially if you made it to this point of the video, and you have been following me for any length of time, and you've wanted to get on a call with me, or you've wanted me to be your coach or your mentor, or you've wanted to do a VIP day with me or come out to one of my events, this version of what I'm doing is the key. If you're in the criteria that I've set out where you're making a certain amount, because the cost of this is 10,000 per year, and it goes up for members who are not the founding members. Meaning, if you get in now as a founding member, it's just 10,000 a year. If you wait, it'll cost more later if you're invited in after the application. But either way, that is why I have that criteria, because it is it's a significant amount of money. But what I want you to think about is what's your What's your summit and what's your basement? That's how I look at it all the time. This is how I make those things happen. I mean, even this week alone, this has happened over and over and over again. Conversations leading to opportunity, putting myself in the right rooms leading to opportunity, moving with speed. And I think I talked about Greg. I forgot to like close the loop on Greg in Bloom. The whole reason I mentioned him earlier is because he talked about, he talks about often, and he just talked about it today on Instagram, that the best way you can fight competition is with speed, not with perfection, but with speed. Making decisions quickly, making moves quickly. I'll give you a good example. This morning, it's 11:45 a.m. today, or right now. This morning, maybe an hour and a half ago, I was talking to someone that I want to have a really important conversation with, that is important for both of our lives and could potentially be lucrative. Okay. And I said, let's get on a Zoom. And I hadn't seen this person in a long time. So when they got back to me, I said, can we do this in person instead? Because they're just a flight away. They're just one flight away. So can we do this in person if you have time? And they say, yeah, I love that. We haven't seen each other in a while. Let's do it. So I, within 30 minutes, went from inviting them to a Zoom to booking a flight, not a crazy flight. It's just going to take about an hour, but booking a flight, going from home, going through traffic both ways. I might even have to stay overnight. We'll see. I booked the one way to see just to get there. And that's set. Whatever it takes, that's set. Made decisions quickly. Will be in the room. Do you see what I'm saying? And what will happen is, no matter what comes from that conversation, it will always be true that we were there face to face. We'll always have that touch point to look back on. Whereas a Zoom might not have had the same effect. And potentially there's more that gets done and figured out and confirmed because we were in the room and were able to look at each other eye to eye and have that conversation. There's a speed to decision making and there's a speed to move making. Like I still don't know where I'm going to be at the end of this week because I may go to Invest Fest. I may not. I need to have made this decision faster. But I have to figure out what the upside would be for me to go, to take away 3, 4 days of my schedule to be there. Now you may say, well, I'm going to be at Invest Fest, Arlan. Leave a comment if you will be there. If you made it to this far in a video that's not going to be seen by many people because I'm being so focused on who I'm sending it to, who I'm putting out into the algorithm. If you made it this far and you're going to be at Invest Fest and you want to leave a comment, it might be a signal to me, but whichever way. If you want to join more and start right away with the earn, invest, give, and play pillars that we work on, where I'm trying to help you have more impact with your dollars, make more, earn more, invest more, give more, and play more, then all you have to do is click on that link below. Go to the page. Please study the page. I made it for a reason, very specifically, so you can know what it's about. And then if it rings true for you, if it's something that I don't need to convince you what the value of this is, you're just like, I need to be in that room. Go ahead and book a call. You'll have a call with me and we'll get to see if it's the right fit. And then if it's the right fit, I'll invite you on the call. I'll invite you to more on that call. Book now, and I will see some of you soon. I'm excited about that. I hope this has been helpful to you. These conversations are just not being had on YouTube. Like there's a lot of tactical stuff, which is awesome. Like the University of YouTube is just, it blows me away. But there's some experiential stuff that gets gate kept. And if we're being fair, I am still gatekeeping some of it for more members. But I'm trying to give as much that makes sense as possible. And I do want to invite you into the room. For anybody else who watched this and you're not there yet, that is why I have these 624 other long form YouTube videos as of today that teach you things for free. That's why I have your first 5K. That's why I do what I do with all of my lower priced memberships and resources. That's why I have Authority X Pro, that's a carbon copy of me and everything that I've ever taught. So I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see what we do next and what becomes our summit and what becomes our basement.